I started playing games in the 80s, so I've seen a lot and I've seen the industry grow to enormous proportions, surpassing Hollywood's movie industry and becoming the entertainment behemoth that it is. But the reality is that the major industry players have lost their focus on consumers. I think that we will not see anything like the video game crash of 1983, but yes, a slow and steady restructuring, with possible big names going bankrupt and others learning from their mistakes. However, I do not believe that a lot of the symptoms that we are seeing right now will go away. So let me explain. Games are now everywhere, they are ubiquitous, and mainly thanks to the mobile and social media platforms that have allowed developers to reach a wider audience. The genius of getting these games to that audience was to give them for free and have you pay to progress faster or remove in-game ads. And there is nothing wrong with that. If I get a game for free and I can somewhat play it, I really can't complain. And whoever developed it deserves to get paid for their effort. Now, what is completely wrong is when publishers or developers include microtransactions for pay to win and in some cases to allow you to unlock content that is already in the original game code. But this is not just the company's fault. Those who shed out their money on microtransactions and pre-ordering games are to blame as well, incentivizing companies to continue their ill practices. It is a known fact that some publishers in some cases make more money with microtransactions than the actual game sales. So why would the corporate executive who knows squat about gaming stop doing it? The reality is that microtransactions are really not going away anytime soon. Now, before the internet existed, games had to be tested thoroughly before release. Nowadays, games are just being rushed out in a poor, unfinished state when you are, paying full price for them, and companies taking advantage by saving costs in their UAT phases, having you, the gamer, be the guinea pig. In some cases, companies don't even provide patches in due time or with enough quantity and quality to fix games. Furthermore, I urge you, if you pre-order games, stop it. I understand that you want to help your favorite franchise, but you're not really helping at all. I am not talking about Kickstarters or small indie developers. I'm talking about established brands. They do not need your money, and if you do give it in advance, they will slack off and not do their best to provide an experience that is worth the money you paid for. So, among all of the plagues that were unleashed by the corporate executives, there is at least some consolation. Due to poor sales, we've seen the continuous downfall of stock prices in 2018, some cases dropping down to 50% of their value. I am sorry for the employees who want to make good games but are pressured to rush out unfinished products. I don't want them to lose their jobs. But unfortunately, I think a major player needs to go bankrupt sometime in the future to serve as an example to others. It would be a historic mark that would remind future corporate executives who only care about profits and never even played a game in their life to think twice before implementing their financial practices. You see executives taking in huge bonuses at the end of the year while staff are getting low pay and working 80 plus hours a week to meet deadlines. But where will all these employees go to when their company goes bankrupt? Well, you might say indie games, but then again we have a problem. Steam is full of indie games, having thousands being released every year. And to mention the YouTube channel The Quartering, where will you find time to play all these games? You won't, right? So, how does the future look? Well, as of now, major companies continue to make the same mistakes, cutting costs, speeding up development, and focusing on games as a service rather than solid AAA quality experiences, which is the opposite of what they should be doing. I think that the industry will have to eventually downsize, and because of market saturation, we'll have to prioritize quality over quantity. Also, we are experiencing too many remakes and lack of innovation, and if you look up at what's coming out in 2019 and 2020, there is not a lot of great games in the horizon. The near future is bleak, and I expect companies going broke, being consolidated or splitting up like Bungie and Activision. Only those that focus on delivering solid quality experiences have a better chance of surviving the hard times to come. But this is not a time to mourn, my friends. This is a time to rejoice. It's all a cycle. The industry will have to reinvent itself into something better. Think about the future where we will have better hardware and software tech and how games will become fully immersed experiences with virtual reality and augmented reality. I can't wait to experience what the future has to offer. So let the dominoes fall.